Every fall, millions of homeowners look at the same thing and see the same problem: a yard buried under dry leaves. So they rake them into piles, stuff them into bags, and send them away like garbage. But here's the strange fact: those leaves didn't appear out of nowhere. Your trees spent an entire growing season pulling energy from sunlight, minerals from the soil, and water from deep underground just to produce them. And now, all of that stored energy is sitting right there on the ground. Most people never realize it, but a pile of fallen leaves is one of the most powerful soil-building resources nature gives you for free. The only reason it usually turns into a soggy, useless mess is because the conditions are wrong. Too little air, not enough nitrogen, and leaves that are packed so tightly together that nothing can break them down. When those three problems happen at the same time, the entire process slows to a crawl. But when the balance is right, something completely different happens. Microbes wake up, heat builds, and that pile of dry leaves begins transforming into rich, dark compost that can feed your garden for an entire season. And it doesn't take a year. With the right setup, it can happen in just a few weeks. So, before you bag another leaf this season, let's take a closer look at why most leaf piles fail and how to turn them into something incredibly valuable instead. Before fixing a leaf pile, it helps to understand why most of them never turn into good compost in the first place. At first glance, leaves seem like the perfect material. They are natural, abundant, and already breaking down in forests everywhere. So why do so many backyard piles just sit there for months without changing? The answer comes down to balance. Dry leaves are extremely rich in carbon. Carbon is an important building block for compost, but by itself, it doesn't fuel rapid decomposition. Microorganisms also need nitrogen to grow and reproduce. Without enough nitrogen, their activity slows dramatically. In simple terms, leaves provide the structure, but nitrogen provides the momentum. Another problem appears when whole leaves collect in thick layers. Because they are flat and flexible, they tend to press tightly together when they get wet. Once this happens, air can no longer move through the pile easily. When oxygen disappears, the helpful aerobic microbes that normally break down organic matter begin to struggle. In their place, slower anaerobic microbes take over. These microbes work in low oxygen environments, but they decompose material much slower and often produce unpleasant smells. Moisture also plays a major role. If the center of a pile stays too dry, microbial activity never really begins. But if the bottom becomes overly wet and compacted, oxygen disappears and decomposition slows even further. So, when a typical leaf pile fails, it usually comes down to three simple issues: too much carbon, too little nitrogen, and not enough air moving through the material. The good news is, none of these problems are difficult to fix. Once you understand what microorganisms actually need to thrive, turning a pile of dry leaves into active compost becomes much more predictable. Once you understand why leaf piles struggle to decompose, the next step is preparing the material so microorganisms can actually do their work. One of the most effective things you can do is reduce the size of the leaves before building your pile. Whole leaves are surprisingly resistant to breakdown because their surface area is limited and their structure tends to trap air unevenly. When they are broken into smaller pieces, everything changes. Shredded leaves expose far more surface area for microbes to attach to and begin feeding. They also prevent the thick, matted layers that block oxygen and slow decomposition. Even a simple pass with a lawnmower over a pile of leaves can dramatically speed up the entire process. After shredding, the next step is introducing a reliable source of nitrogen. Because leaves are mostly carbon, adding a nitrogen-rich material helps balance the mixture so microbes can multiply quickly. Many gardeners use fresh animal manure such as chicken, rabbit, or goat manure for this purpose. When mixed with water, it can be lightly sprinkled over the shredded leaves to distribute nitrogen more evenly through the pile. If manure is not available, other nitrogen sources can work just as well. Materials like blood meal, grass clippings, or other green plant matter can help provide the nutrients microorganisms need to start rapid decomposition. Moisture is the final piece of preparation. Microbial activity requires water, but too much can suffocate the pile by filling the air spaces between materials. The goal is a texture similar to a wrung-out sponge, damp throughout the pile but never dripping wet. When shredded leaves, nitrogen, and balanced moisture come together, the environment becomes ideal for microbial growth. Instead of a cold pile that sits unchanged for months, you create conditions where decomposition can accelerate dramatically.
With the materials properly prepared, the next step is building the compost pile in a way that allows the process to maintain heat and stay active. Location matters more than many people realize. Whenever possible, build the pile directly on bare soil rather than on concrete or a tarp. The soil underneath contains a diverse community of microorganisms that can help seed the compost with decomposers already adapted to your local environment. Size is also important. Small piles lose heat quickly, which slows microbial activity. A pile that is at least 3 feet wide and 3 feet tall usually provides enough mass to retain warmth and keep decomposition moving forward. As you build the pile, loosely stack the prepared leaves while keeping the moisture level consistent. The materials should remain damp but airy, allowing oxygen to move through the structure. Good airflow encourages the aerobic microbes responsible for efficient composting. After the pile is assembled, allow it to sit for a short period while microbial populations begin multiplying. Within a couple of days, activity inside the pile should start increasing as microorganisms consume the available nutrients and release heat as a natural byproduct of their metabolism. To keep this activity going, the pile needs occasional turning. Every few days, use a fork or shovel to move the outer material toward the center and bring the center outward. This simple step refreshes the oxygen supply and redistributes moisture throughout the pile. During this time, you may notice several visible changes. The pile gradually shrinks as organic matter breaks down. The color begins to darken. The sharp scent of dry leaves fades and is replaced by a deeper, earthy smell, similar to the forest floor after rainfall. These are all signs that decomposition is progressing well and that the microorganisms inside the pile are steadily transforming the original material into finished compost. After several weeks of steady activity, the compost pile will begin to reach its final stage. You'll notice that the material no longer resembles the leaves you started with. Instead of dry, brittle pieces, the pile becomes dark, loose, and crumbly. Individual leaves are difficult to recognize, and the entire mixture feels cool when you touch it. This is the point where the transformation is essentially complete. What remains is stable organic matter, rich in nutrients and microbial life. Gardeners often refer to this finished product as black gold because of the powerful effect it can have on soil health. There are many simple ways to use it. When planting vegetables, a small handful placed into each planting hole can help improve soil structure and provide a steady supply of nutrients as roots begin to grow. Around fruit bushes and perennial plants, spreading a thin layer on the surface of the soil works as a natural top dressing that slowly feeds the surrounding ecosystem. Compost can also be blended into garden beds before planting season to improve water retention and create a healthier environment for beneficial soil organisms. Over time, these small additions make a noticeable difference. Soil becomes darker, looser, and better able to hold moisture. Plants develop stronger root systems and often show more consistent growth throughout the season. What began as a pile of dry leaves eventually becomes one of the most useful materials you can add back into your garden. By the time the process is finished, it's easy to look back and realize how differently those fallen leaves could have been treated. What once looked like yard waste was actually the raw material for rebuilding healthy soil. Instead of hauling it away, you turned it into something that will continue supporting your garden long after the leaves themselves disappeared. This small shift in perspective changes how you see the entire cycle of the seasons. When autumn arrives and the trees begin dropping their leaves again, it no longer feels like a cleanup problem waiting to happen. It becomes the beginning of another opportunity to create nutrient-rich compost that will help next year's plants grow stronger. Nature is constantly recycling its own resources. When we work with that cycle instead of against it, the results tend to be simple, practical, and surprisingly effective. If you found this helpful and enjoy learning practical ways to work with natural systems in your own backyard, consider subscribing so you don't miss future guides like this. And the next time you see a yard covered in fallen leaves, you might recognize it for what it really is, a valuable resource waiting to be put back to work.